helping you with Mollis was good for me, too. If you ever need me to help you with Mollis again, just give us a call. I'll be right there.
I understand.
Good.
And thanks for the shag, too. That was great.
Hey everybody, we got Constantine back. We jumped around to Arrow, Flash. Hopefully they'll make a joke about that destroyed coffee shop on Arrow sometime. Apparently there's Jitter franchises all over the place. I guess that's like the Starbucks of Earth 1. Too bad they didn't take her to a Belly Burger, but maybe they had torn down that set. They had like a little one on Arrow last season, but there are a couple of chain restaurants. The big stuff about this episode, just in addition to having Constantine in general, just a really cool thing, is the fact that they called Mollis out as a demon, but the thing is that he wasn't bound by the traditional rules that bind magical creatures. Like when Constantine tries to trap it in the runes, he's not trapped by that. So that means that he's either not a demon or he's just a demon of a higher order that's just so powerful that you can't trap him with traditional magic. But the whole thing, number 10, is that they learn his name. You can't summon a demon without using his name. So to speak a demon's name gives you a certain amount of power over it. You need to know its true name because a lot of demons have fake names. So there might be some twist with Mollis. Maybe he has a different name or there's some secret behind him. All we know is that you should take him at face value. He is a legit demon. So based on some of the big twists at the end of the episode too, especially with the warning that Constantine gave them about Sarah, I think they aren't trying to deceive us. I think he really is a demon. He's just an incredibly powerful one. But number 9, pick up in Star City. That's where the asylum is. Turns out Emily is actually Damien Darhk's daughter, just a much younger version of her when she's first taken by Mollis. So now we know why she's drunk in the Kool-Aid. Because there's this whole thing in the episode about people being irredeemable, maybe you being able to save them. They had that whole subplot with Kuwasa, Vixen trying to redeem her. But number 8, Constantine introduces himself to the group. You get all these nods to his comic book backstory. He even winks at Captain Cold like he's coming on to him because he's bisexual in the comics, just like Sarah Lance is. So obviously they got it on during the episode. It was really funny. But they tease a relationship with Sarah and the woman from the Time Bureau. I think that part of the Sarah character works best when they don't try to pin her down to any one particular relationship. Like number 7, that really funny moment where they actually do have sex in the insane asylum back during 1969.
You said I was strong enough to hold Mollis off.
Yeah, well, I was trying to seduce you.
Oh, please, I was seducing you.
Just one of the funnier things about her character. She's written more like an Indiana Jones male-type character would be written. You may have also noticed the joke about Batman v Superman during Heatwave's football game. So all he wants to do is watch his game. Water bitch stays in the freezer. He was on fire for that middle part of the episode. The goodbye with Captain Cold was a nice scene, but I still thought that it was funnier when he was just yelling at everybody to get out so that he could watch his game. But if you look at the screen here, one of the team's abbreviations is BVS. Number 6, in order to get back to the present, they have Sarah let herself be possessed by Mollis, so she goes to his dark realm again and finds Damien Darhk's daughter, even though that was a bit of a misdirect and they weren't able to change the future outcome, which I'll explain in a second. But if you didn't catch it, the flashbacks that she was having were from when she was resurrected by Constantine. And then he references what happened during Arrow Season 4. Like they keep going back to that moment when they were last together. Like at the beginning of the episode where he says, "I saved your soul, you owe me indefinitely." So then later, number 5, they also flash back to the end of Arrow Season 4 during that big coffee shop. I'm going to call it a Jitters, but they were trying to be ambiguous about it because it was in Star City, not in Central City. So even though they were borrowing the exact same Jitters set that the Flash people use, it was supposed to be in Star City. And I think it was all just because of that moment they wanted to use on TV where Oliver killed Damien Darhk at the end of Season 4 just to trigger her before Damien Darhk showed up. So jumping around in time, there were moments when they were in Central City during the episode and moments when they were in Star City. But when they first go to the Wave Rider where Constantine is walking on with Sarah at the very beginning of the episode, they're in Central City. But then when they take Nora to the coffee shop later, they're back in Star City. Number 4, of course, was the current version of Damien Darhk from present day showing up to get his daughter from the past to drink the Kool-Aid so that she could resurrect him in the future like we saw happen at the beginning of the season on Legends of Tomorrow. And I think the fact that they're not able to change time is an important message for the season. Usually you find that they're not able to affect time the way that you think they would. And I think it's a bit of a hat tip for what's happening during Vixen and Kuwasa's storyline. Like Kuwasa's big sticking point is that Vixen won't go back in time to change history so that her family doesn't get fractured, Vixen doesn't die, her mother doesn't die. But if the Legends weren't able to prevent Nora from turning evil and going with Damien Darhk's people, then they're probably not going to be able to change time for Vixen's family either. Number 3, Mollis calls Zari one of the 6, and it sounds like one of the 6 people that can either help him or hurt him. She has some power that can affect him. It probably has something to do with her totem. Avatar: The Last Airbender style, we know about a couple of the totems because Zari and Vixen both wield totems. So it sounds like there'll be a couple people on the TV show that they'll either redeem because they're evil right now and working with Damien Darhk, or they're part of the Legends team that will be able to work together to use all their totems to bind Mollis and banish him to whatever realm that he comes from. So remember that. We see an old version of Nora. She's not that bad of a person, but she's evil in present day, so maybe there's a chance that they could bring her back from the dark side. Same thing with Kuwasa's character. She says that she's going to give Vixen a chance to try and help her out. Don't you disappoint me. So just hold your breath or open up a tab in Chrome for those evil characters that possess totems, helping the Legends bind Mollis by the end of the season. Number 2, Earth-X Captain Cold leaves the Wave Rider at the end of the episode. He says, "See you around" to Heatwave, but I took that to mean that when they eventually bring Captain Cold back in a future season or whenever, it'll be this version of the character, not the original version that we saw in The Flash. Of course, number 1 WTF is Constantine teasing that Sarah's eventually going to succumb to the darkness, Mollis, inside her. She'll be just like Nora with those red eyes, just fully possessed. Ray better keep that anti-magic gun around in case he needs to neutralize her in a really easy way before they figure out how all the totems work together. And I referenced Avatar: The Last Airbender earlier. I have a feeling that when they bring all the totems together, it will unlock like an Avatar-type state, something that's way more powerful than any of the one totems by itself. So when Constantine says they need to figure their shit out, they need to figure out how all the totems work together. But this was episode 10, there are 18 episodes total. Wally West is coming back in episode 12. Episode 11 next week is going to be a Groundhog's Day episode, and then pretty much the rest of the season is all Wally West. But just let me know in the comments if you spotted any Easter eggs that I didn't mention during the video. Most of the references they made to Astra was from the Constantine Season 1 that aired on NBC. They talk about the girl that he failed to save. So there was a lot of Constantine dialogue where he's like, hey, remember when I did this? Remember when I did that? For all the stuff that he did on that NBC show, as well as when he guest starred on Arrow Season 4. But ever since I've been posting these Constantine videos, people have been asking about the katana mask behind them on the Wave Rider here. That's from the Arrow character. She was on Arrow Season 3, so it's her version of Katana. It's not the movie version of Katana's mask. If you're a big Stanley Kubrick fan, the room that Nora was in inside the insane asylum was Room 237. That's the name of a movie that's a documentary about all the theories of the subtext of the Shining movie that Stanley Kubrick made. So that was just sort of their way of invoking all this crazy, mystical, nightmarish stuff that's going on in Constantine's world. But there is a new round of that Flash Ring giveaway. All you have to do to enter is be a subscriber and leave a comment on the video. Congratulations to the winner from my last video, Burnt Toast Gaming. Please private message me so I can get your contact details. I'll name a new winner when I post new Flash. That'll probably be tomorrow. But there was some really cool Avengers stuff that happened in the Marvel Universe, so I'll do a video for that tomorrow too. So new Infinity War, new Flash stuff posting tomorrow. Click here for brand new Flash, and click here for my new Black Panther Infinity War trailer. Thank you so much for watching. Everybody stay awesome. I'll see you guys tonight.